Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where we are currently kind of chilling here. I don't really want to expand further to the south, out over this direction right now. I want to let our aggressive expansion drop somewhat. It's a little on the high end down here. We're not in significant danger at this point, but it's definitely a potential issue. Expanding out this way is maybe an option, as long as Jaunpur doesn't get all uppity about it. What I really want to do is I want to expand up into here. We have 5 uncontested cores here right now, and that is really hurting our prestige. These 5 cores I would love to take from Uzbek. Unfortunately, we're not in a position to fight this alliance in its current situation. As a hypothetical, if we were to call in Hormuz, maybe. This is getting kind of close, but their numbers are significantly better than ours, and our manpower is really low right now. So I think we should continue to buy our time for the moment, or rather bide our time for the moment. And if we see an opportunity to attack here, or if we get a powerful ally like the Ottomans, then we could definitely do that. However, I was just looking at Europe over here and thinking, other than Miltech, they don't look that strong. Austria only has 7,000 more troops than us. The Ottomans have roughly double our troops, granted, but that's still not that much. France has 61,000, England has 53,000, Castile has, oh, that's Portugal. Castile has 47,000. Like, we're not that far off of Europe in strength. Our Miltech is lower, yes, and we're working on that. Staying at peace will actually help that a significant amount, because that will mean that we'll have more institution spread, which would be absolutely great. Speaking of which, I want to take a look at how colonialism is doing. Okay. That's a really long ways away. Noted. Now, Renaissance is spreading into our territory at a reasonable rate at this point. We've got a number of provinces that it's spreading to, and it's actually at 80% up over here. So that's looking reasonably solid. Let's tick forward for the time being. We're still going to be chilling. We need to build up our manpower numbers. We need to get our troops reinforced, and I want to expand our armies somewhat. The question is by how much? We need at least 1 value cannon per army, for sure, bare minimum. Now, if we look at our current setup here, oh, this just changed. Before we started ticking forward, this was at 40 of 39. So we just are now at our land force limit. That's great. That will continue to improve as autonomy does. A lot of this autonomy, though, is currently capped by corruption. So bringing our corruption down will help a lot. So basically, it's just a matter of time, right? At this point, that is the primary thing here. Now, I do want to check our institution spread. It should be at, I believe, 30 right now. Yes. So that's very solid for the moment. 85 here. How much is that growing per month? Ooh, gaining 46 ducats. Done. We'll take 46 ducats. So we're 85 here. Month tick and 85.96. Okay, that's not bad. 1% per month. So we're a little over a year from having it be embraced there. That's not going to be 10% of our development, but even so. We are currently dropping finances a little bit. And what has changed here? Well, that production change. So we're going to turn down our rooting out of corruption a little bit to be about here. That'll be fine for the moment. And we're just going to keep balancing ourselves around that half ducat per month or so. We're going to need to back off on that slightly. It'll be about there. So that's fine. Minus 0.9 per year. Our corruption is going away reasonably quickly. Reasonably. It'll take some time, but that's absolutely fine. So we've got enough manpower to reinforce our armies in full. These guys don't currently have a leader. Do we want to roll one, or would we rather give our ruler military command? What are the stats of our ruler in air? 353, 434. So that's basically even, but we would get more admin and more military and less dip. So I think it's fine if we lose our ruler here. Done. Okay, so our ruler is leading this army now. He's now Craven. Okay, that's awkward, but sure. It's fine if he dies. So no major concerns there. That all seems completely okay. What is the actual number that our corruption is changing by monthly? Okay, so 0.08. Gotcha. So that's fine. That's not the end of the world, absolutely. We're seeing our autonomy tick down over here. It's also ticking down in these newer provinces. Now, we can invest in an idea here. I don't like investing in ideas when we are not ahead of time in technology. And with this Renaissance malice here, that's pretty painful. What is our current cap on admin power? 1738? Okay. Arguably, we may want, if we think we're going to get Renaissance soon, we may want to not get our Miltech yet, but I don't think it's going to be that soon. I think we take the Miltech, but we don't take anything else here. Yeah. So at this point, these guys, we definitely don't adopt level 8 admin and Diptech until such a time as we get Renaissance adopted. That is the goal here now. So I think that's a reasonable one. Oh, we can use our government interaction. Again, I don't think there's any real argument here for anything other than efficient tax farming because we have no subjects at this time. So that'll be okay. And we're going to build up our manpower here for a while. I'm noting this tribe over in Chagatai. That's interesting. Okay, this is obviously non-viable to attack here. What we're really interested in is Uzbek declaring a war that they start to kind of lose a bit. That's what we're really interested in here. I also want to get a single value cannon, at least for now, in each of our armies. We'll think about expanding our backline, but we need to expand our front line because we have a combat width of 24 right now. So our front line needs to be expanded by at least 4. The question is, do we want to go up to 4 cavalry units? Renaissance has spread. That's fantastic. So that is really, really good for us. I want to check in on this. That is 4% of development. Okay. Noted. So obviously it's going to take a little bit to spread in some of these other areas. 15%, 8%. Yeah, it's not going quite as fast as it did here. No doubt about that. I was hoping this would be a little further along. How much are we gaining here on a monthly basis? So we're at 53.36 right now. 53.57. Okay. Noted. So Ajam just made a claim on us. That seems a bit ambitious, but they're allied with Nogai, Hasa, Shirvan, and Luristan. As a hypothetical, no. That alliance does not win against us. Noted. So that's fine for now. We definitely do want to build up our manpower and continue to expand our military. We're at 42 of 40 land force limit right now, and that's going to continue to hurt our balance for the moment. An alliance offer from Hasa. Are we interested in that? They're Miltech 7 with 6,000 troops. No. They are not strong enough for that to be considered worthwhile for us. So for the moment, that's fine. Uzbek was discovered building a spy network. Okay. So they're still allied with Kazan and Chagatai. Basically, what we want is them to declare a war up over this direction, and then we just race in and yoink these 5 provinces that we have a core on. That would be the ideal scenario here. We don't really go too much further than that, most likely. If we can, we can. But we'll take the innovativeness, actually. We don't care about any of those people's opinions of us. They already hate us. So that's reasonably fine. Yeah, our innovativeness is going to decrease. It's not going to last forever, but that's okay. Seems reasonably fine. So that's at 54.85. Yeah. So that's going up by 0.21 monthly. So that's going pretty well, all things considered. We've got a fair amount of that coming in. That looks good. When can we seize land here? Yeah, about 2 years. So that's going to be a bit. Let's see what we can get for an agenda. Build a mosque in Moghastan for 1 base tax. Okay, how long do we have to do that? It'll expire on... Okay, we have 20 years. Do it. So we're going to build the mosque in Moghastan. We're not ready to do it just yet. Obviously, we don't have the cash for it. We could take out a loan for it. We could debase our currency for it. I'm not going to do either. We're just going to continue to build up our finances in the state it's at right now. I would like to drop our inflation, though. I don't suppose we have an inflation reduction advisor. Negative. Okay. Noted. So for now, we're just going to continue rooting out corruption, and that's absolutely fine. As our corruption drops, that will get us to the point where our rooting out corruption basically doesn't cost anything anymore, and that will free us up a lot at that point. Right now, our economy is heavily devoted to rooting out corruption, and this is the price that we pay for essentially doubling our land that quickly, right? So that's reasonably fine. Minus 100% missionary strength here for a while, or 6 unrest, currently minus 91. We'll take the unrest. That is, of course, going to bounce back up once the recently rebelled modifier goes away. So that's understood. We do still need about 2,000 men to return to our army. That's okay. And the Emperor enacted the Imperial Reform. Cool. State maintenance minus 25%. I hope he has fun with that. We could adopt the title of Khalifa, and that'll move us 10 towards legalism. Absolutely, we do that. Denouncement of secret practices. Absolutely, we do this as well. 10 more towards legalism, minus 1 national unrest. We could impose a new religious tax. I think this is a good thing as well. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to enforce religious unity at this time, but that does allow us to go down to Moghastan and build that mosque. I just want to double check that that was Moghastan. Yes. Okay. Sounds good. So we can certainly do that. We could also potentially build another workshop or another mosque. It would be a workshop in Kabul, which I'll do right now. Excellent. So that will gain us some additional income. That'll be absolutely wonderful. We can currently toss a little bit more towards rooting out of corruption, which we're happy to do. And how are we doing on our legalism? We're at 75 right now. Wonderful. So that allows us to drop our corruption by another 2 here. Boom. Phenomenal. Of course, that drops our tax because we get a tax bonus from being towards legalism. So that means that we are currently negative financially, and we have to drop our corruption a little bit, but that's understood. So that's completely fine. I would rather lose the corruption right now. So that's great. Gain a free stability or a base tax. That is a hard choice. I know how I'm going to choose this, and I'll explain it, but I'll explain why this is a hard choice. Gaining 1 stability is phenomenal here. That will gain us, well, no unrest. We'll have no unrest at that point. Boosting our stability will increase our will increase our corruption loss. And I think it'll also boost our treasury gain a bit. In the short term, this is an amazing, amazing option. In the long term, we probably gain more from the base tax. However, if we go to the province in question and we look at this, we can also compare this in terms of how much admin power is each of these worth. In this case, this is worth 80 admin power to boost the base tax here. And in terms of boosting our stability, it's worth 94 admin power. So technically, we take the stability here, but I do think that the better long-term play is the base tax. But I think the stability helps us so much in the moment, and it's technically slightly more admin power, that this is what I'm going to take. I don't think it's great. But we'll do it that way. I would rather take the base tax under almost every situation. Austria declared war on Galicia, Volhynia. Okay. What we're really watching for is Uzbek getting into a war. Currently, they haven't. And we're actually close to being able to take this on, but we're not quite there. Ajam just rivaled us. Timurids just annexed their vassal. Okay. Exciting, that. If we were to attack Ajam, hypothetically, we would be fighting Nogai. So we'd lose our alliance with Nogai, and I'm not sure that that's a useful thing at this moment. It will become a useful thing. The Timurids just embraced Renaissance. We should be getting quite close to that now, though. How are we doing on that? 58.72? That could definitely be doing better. So this is currently 3.9% of our development. There's that base tax in Moghastan. So now this is still 3.9. Okay, cool. So how are we doing on our finances now? That did actually boost up our income by a decent amount. So I don't want to root out corruption maximally, but I want to be about here. That looks good. And are we creeping towards legalism still? Yes, we are. Phenomenal. Okay, so we want to get as much legalism as we can. Absolutely. We could convert to Sikhism, but we're not going to do that. Absolutely not. So we're currently at about 11 corruption right now. And that's coming down nicely. Our truce with Mara and Baluchistan are now over. Okay, our truce with Timurids will continue for a while. But that's expected. We can now seize land. The merchant guilds and the Dhimmi are not very happy right now. So we're going to need them to drift towards their equilibrium for a little bit before we actually do this. We're not in a position to do that just yet. So that's reasonably fine for the moment. We have regenerated a good amount of manpower. But when is Uzbek going to do something? That's the question here. I'd really like them to. I mean, it is ultimately to our benefit to not do anything at this moment. We definitely want to be bringing down our corruption, and we're interested in bringing up our land force limit, which is a direct result of lowering our corruption because that increases our, or rather, it improves our autonomy, right? So we have a lot of autonomy out over this way still. And we can see that that reduces the land force limit modifier by 37%. So that's definitely something that we want to be a little bit concerned about. Now, we can grab Admin Tech 8 here. It's not a phenomenal Admin Tech. And we've got that 50% malice for not having embraced Renaissance. We can theoretically delay this admin tech a little bit, but we're only at 61% here. To be honest, I think we're probably going to cap our admin power before then. So I think we have to take this admin tech. And from here, we should probably consider grabbing another idea group from one of these others over here, because we're starting to get into such expensive malices that it's probably better off that we put our power into ideas. So we could go for something like quality or quantity. I usually go for quantity, even though it has been nerfed to only being plus 33% land force limit modifier. I still think this is really, really good. 33% manpower, 20% manpower recovery speed, 10% regiment cost reduction, 33% supply limit, 33% reinforced cost reduction, 5% maintenance modifier, and 25% reduction in land attrition. This is so good. It's so good. So we're going to take quantity ideas here. Phenomenal. I'm not going to grab Merchant Adventures as of yet, but that is definitely something that we can put our power into there. Admin power, we're not interested in spending on that. We're going to need all the admin power we can get. Eventually, we'll get an admin group there, but it's probably going to languish in obscurity for a while. So we can see here that we're at... Okay, yeah, that's pretty painful. We absolutely need to get Renaissance. Absolutely. So that is a very high priority for us. We're down to only being at 15% institution spread. Oh, right, the positive stability gave us an additional 5%. But we lost that 20% from the event. That's fine. We knew that that would time out eventually. It is spreading through here, but we definitely could use some significant spread. No doubt about that. So for now, the question is, are we interested in immediately grabbing this manpower modifier? Kinda, yeah. We're not going to have enough to do it until next year, but yeah, I think kinda. Hang on, who's Nogai at war with? Herkoyunlu. We're allied with them. We'll allow them to cross our land. That's fine. I'm not concerned about that. So that's completely okay. We are down below 10 corruption now. That's looking solid. And checking in on our war exhaustion, that's completely gone. Good to know. What I really want to check in on, though, is our land force limit. Yeah, we're up to 42. Okay, so we want to expand these out by an additional 4 in total, right? So for now, we can grab our dip tech. We'll definitely do that. And we gain 10 Navy tradition. Okay. We're not going to be getting any other technologies for a while because we've got these big institution malices. And that's understood. So our next our next power expenditure is going to be national manpower modifier here. So that'll be in August. That's okay. Nothing too major here. We're going to grab an admin group next, but we're probably going to keep going down diplomatic and or military here. What do we got here? Fort defense? I don't like it. Fort defense isn't necessary here. But I do want to check in to see, have we gotten ourselves somebody here who has inflation reduction? No, I don't want to pay to retire anybody at this time. Oh, we've got this event again. What do we got going on here? This is going to be like 3 months here. The merchants would lose 10 loyalty here. We have to take this one. I want the Dhimmi to raise up their loyalty up above 50 here. Playing the course. What do we got here? Moving 25 towards legalism. This will harm our autonomy change and our goods produced modifier, but I think that's okay for the time being. I want the legalism. So we're going to take the legalism. That'll offset it a lot. Our royal marriage with no guy is over. And we're just waiting for one more month tick. We died. Okay, that's actually a good thing. We're going to wait one more month tick here. Now the Dhimmi are at 50%, and we can seize land. Boom. And now we're going to say, what an excellent idea. The merchants' guilds are now angry. They'll get over it. So that's okay. And now, in theory, I think we can go in here. Yeah, we can adopt Khalifa and head towards legalism. We can denounce sect practices and lose an unrest and gain 10 points towards legalism. Fantastic. So that gives us some extra legalism there. And now we're at least ticking this direction. I want to check in over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised that we need to back off on our rooting out of corruption a little bit after that. Ooh, a little further even. Okay, about here. That'll be fine. So that all looks good for the moment. Death was a little bit awkward in the timing. That did, of course, lose us that stability point that we got, but that was always something that was going to go away, which is also part of the reason why I'm saying that base tax probably would have been better, because that's not something that we can lose, right? That's just there forever unless we, like, exploit development or something, or I guess it gets pillaged in some way, but there are ways to do that, but it's very unlikely to happen. So it's probably would have been better to take the base tax, but I really did want that stability for a little bit there. We may want to consider, however, bumping up our stability again. It's only 91 admin power. I'm going to do it. We know we're not going to be spending on the scythe anytime soon, and getting that institution spread more than anything. The institution spread is very, very useful for us. So we'll take that for right now. And we're at 2.2% inflation. Yeah, I don't love our inflation. We could spend admin power to reduce our inflation. I would much rather get an advisor for it. 10% production efficiency. This guy would not pay for himself. Okay, that's fine. I do want to bump up our rooting out corruption a little bit as we've stabilized a bit. Austria is the emperor, yes. I don't want the local autonomy. We're going to take the unrest and the local manpower modifier. So this is going to be in Gilgit. Okay. So that's going to be out over here. It's still a 0. Okay. So that's great. They've still got the recent uprising. No problem there. We can purchase an ability in the Age of Discovery, which is mildly surprising. We could go for cavalry to infantry ratio is definitely not ideal. This makes war taxes free, which is maybe not a bad idea. Aggressive expansion impact is nice, and state edict, sure. I kind of want war taxes free, though. That's going to be a significant gain for us. So that means that we could just have war taxes up forever and reduce our maintenance modifier. Now, it doesn't have a real effect when our maintenance is down, like this. But when we turn our maintenance up, that will be significant. How much of this deficit is reinforcement? About half. A little under half. Okay, noted. I do want some forces going to our... or some manpower going to our forces. Wow. Venice, Milan, Austria, and England all took their golden era simultaneously. Okay, that's exciting. I wish them luck with that one. Okay, so we can get ourselves an agenda here. Ooh, the Gilgit Mosque. I really do like this. It's essentially trading 100 gold for a base tax and a mosque. It's a really good deal. Base production is generally better, but this could be admin power. But we would have to control Isfahan. So I think that we build a mosque over in Gilgit. I think that's definitely the way to go. Now, it's going to cost 102 gold, and we're currently negative financially. I'm going to stop rooting out corruption for a moment here. We're still going to be reducing it due to our incorruptible and positive stability, but I want to save up the money for the mosque nice and quickly and just get that base tax working for us as soon as possible. So let's go for, this is going to be what, one more month tick? I think we'll have enough on this month tick. Yes. So we get that mosque going in there. That's phenomenal. And now, of course, we can put our rooting out of corruption back to be about... I wish that the tooltip wasn't hiding this, but there we go. About here. Perfect. So that'll be fine. We are down to 8 corruption. I was hoping Uzbek would do something spicy and we'd be able to fight them. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. We are getting very, very close, though, to being ready to expand out our military a little bit, and that will definitely help matters. We're now below our force limit, and that's looking solid. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.